What with all the recent talk about crypto regulations, new initiatives, and legislation actually passing, I believe now is the ideal time to focus on the most important stories that are influencing this market. By the way, tokenization is totally taking center stage. In the past 30 days, we have seen a substantial increase of 7.33%. Almost $26 billion worth of physical assets are currently listed on the chain, and there are now 314,000 asset holders, an increase of more than. In addition, the value of stable coins is increasing in tandem with all other market indicators. There seems to be no end to the expansion of this market. This is when things get crazy. According to some prominent figures, this on-chain value has the potential to increase by a factor of 4,000. Bitwise's chief information officer said that. And to be honest, the figure doesn't sound as absurd as it sounds at first. From our current vantage point, if you were to imagine a 4,000x jump, it's just astounding. An incredible breakdown of the possible size of the tokenization market was published by Smokedog. With 37 trillion, we have real estate. With 314 trillion, digital bonds. With 155 trillion, investment funds. And with 123 trillion, public equity. Also, this isn't brand new data. For a very long time, these figures have been circulated. This is what really surprises me though. The World Economic Forum estimated the total addressable market at an astounding $67 trillion back in 2021, a long time ago, and we were already discussing tokenization at that time. In the present day, these figures have only become larger. You should consider these numbers in context with everything else I'm telling you. Data from 2023 was used for that. Consequently, the market sizes we are considering have most certainly expanded further in the time since. These figures have skyrocketed in only 2 years and don't appear to be slowing down anytime soon. That the tokenization market is growing at such a phenomenal rate is really driven home by this. Things are about to heat up now. We are talking about a range of $102 to $120 trillion if we manage to achieve that 4,000 times growth. If you take a step back and consider the big picture, we're only at the beginning of this process. The most astounding part is that this enormous figure does not even cover the whole market we are discussing. And now we have something more that is intriguing. Utility tokens, such as XRP, encapsulate tokenized real-world assets. Enhanced transparency and unprecedented market access are two of the best features of this structure. Basically, it's leveling the playing field so that everyone may easily access certain types of assets. However, I believe that the transfer of ownership is a major benefit that is being completely disregarded. By using tokenization, you can digitize tangible rights or advantages and encapsulate them in useful tokens. A plethora of new investing opportunities arise when you combine utility tokens with security tokens in your portfolio. Portfolio management entails much more than only keeping an eye on returns, which is the brilliant part. Tokenization provides management tools that beyond typical investment tracking by allowing you to add physical rights and tangible advantages in your portfolio. When we talk about utility tokens, XRP stands out as an ideal illustration of this in action. Functional utility cryptocurrencies, such as XRP, stand out because they leverage blockchain technology to address real-world issues and improve efficiency. It's more than merely a store of value or a speculative investment. They go so far as to compare it to speculative assets of the future, such as Bitcoin and Dogecoin. In a word, yes. The truth is that utility-based projects are the engine that is propelling the tokenization revolution. Ethereum is currently leading the networks, and everyone is aware of the rationale behind it. That said, I do believe that environment will change with the passage of time. However, if you look at this list, you'll see that there are several very strong utility projects that are creating a buzz. There's XRP on it. If it were being monitored correctly, Algo, XLM, and I'd be surprised if HBR weren't also scoring highly. You should also not ignore XDC. All of these programs are beginning to demonstrate strong tokenization capabilities, and this is what really excites me. We're starting from scratch, folks. Only about 14 billion across all these networks are we considering. If we consider how far this could go, that is chump change. Even Vlad Tenev has proclaimed tokenization as the most significant development in the financial markets during the past 10 years. Pay attention, we figured out a way to expose clients to that, even though in the past they were denied the dividends. As a result, we aim to provide the full advantages of cryptography while retaining full ownership of the underlying asset. On top of that, I don't think Robinhood is ever really the pioneer in any given field. We usually take the attitude of wanting to see if other people would take the lead, and I believe that in this specific instance, we recognized a chance to provide a strong product because we believe that retail investors should have access to these companies and assets. You also said that the United States would be a possible launch market. Is there a particular adjustment to the regulations that you require to make this happen? Interestingly, we hold the belief that the SEC possesses the capacity to implement tokenization in the US even in the absence of legislation. Plus, as you may recall from last week, Chairman Atkins interviewed an SEC official regarding tokenization. He praised it as a groundbreaking invention. Also, we feel the same way. Tokenization is the most significant innovation that the capital markets have seen in the last 10 years, in our opinion. The United States therefore shouldn't lag too far behind. Believe the potential is just too great for average people to sit on their hands and do nothing. Over the next several years, I think we're going to see some really amazing opportunities to make money by continuing to invest in these utility-based projects, particularly in light of the increasing influx of capital from large institutions such as governments, asset management firms, and banks. These legislative actions and regulatory shifts are the driving forces behind all that is happening. In a recent video I brought this up. Those bills were used to make history, and we were there to see it. That's not empty rhetoric either, because those laws are unleashing a torrent of capital worth trillions of dollars into this industry. In all candor, this is merely the beginning of a much larger boom. And if you focus on the XRP ledger in particular, we are currently sitting on approximately $120 million worth of assets. There has been a fair amount of rattling about. A little while ago, we actually hit 100 and you may see all 10 RWA assets that are currently present on the XRP ledger. There it is. The tokenization activity surrounding the XRP has been quite interesting to follow. One major development that has recently captured the public's eye is the tokenization of real estate through control, and that one we will certainly investigate. However, in all candor, I believe the RWA value on the XRP ledger is likely to skyrocket, and the reason I'm so confident in this is this. Pay close attention to the MP. These versatile tokens are giving the XRP ledger a whole new level of adaptability, but here's the rub. For the entire ecosystem to function properly, they require some structure. The suggested metadata standard is useful in this regard. The main goal is to greatly simplify the process of discovering, ranking, and integrating these MPTs into various platforms and applications. Digging into this thread reveals the fundamental problem in a wonderful way. MPTs offer a great deal of adaptability, yet the expected structural fields, such as a currency code, are absent. The free-form metadata field they're using instead makes them difficult if not impossible to recognize or display correctly in UI. They have some brilliant ideas for a metadata standard that they are introducing. Name, icon, description, ticker, and a plethora of other essentials are all part of it. This means that ticker searches can now be conducted on MPT. They are fully functional in wallets, explorers, DEX sets, and may be ranked with IOUs. It simplifies parsing and working with stuff. In a sense, it's closing the gap between being adaptable and being easy to use. While it's not required yet, without a doubt they are advocating for. Now consider how enormous this MPT standard is. Many in the industry, including Ripple's Jazzy Cooper, have been predicting that MPTs will be the deciding factor in whether or not institutions will adopt tokenized on-chain assets. Why? Reason being, you're gaining access to all that valuable data, countless things, including the ticker, name, emblem, and explanation. In every way, this changes the game, and with Ripple, the time is perfect, truly emphasizing the importance of collaborations with institutions. Consider the Control-Alt function. This is precisely the point I'm making. Let me tell you what's going on. Tokenized real estate title deeds issued by the Dubai Land Department will be stored scalable and securely on the XRP ledger by Ripple Custody, thanks to a partnership between Ripple, Control-Alt, and the Dubai Land Department. The implication is that fractional ownership can now be considered. With full disclosure, the real estate market in Dubai is now open to investors from every corner of the globe. We already discussed an announcement, and this expands upon it. Now for the exciting part. On the XRP ledger, funds are already making their way into Control-Alt. Check this out. We currently have 4 properties tokenized with prices ranging from $408,000 to more over $1 million. At this very now, actual assets and funds are changing hands. When she offered her perspective on this, Monica Long was spot on. You simply cannot overlook the vital importance of bank-grade custody and security for assets worth trillions of dollars that are being tokenized globally. This includes bonds, stocks, real estate, and everything else imaginable. She clearly takes pride in the fact that the tokenized real estate title deeds of the Dubai Land Department are protected on the XRP ledger by Ripple custody.